Hey, well, it's Sly King welcoming you back to the extended happy hour. Now, hopefully, by now you've had a chance to watch some of the other videos. Now, if you have not, make sure you look at the other videos that are also on this page that you're looking at. That's on hot1077radio.com and also on my YouTube channel. But I want to talk to you very quickly about something I feel that's very relevant to what we're hearing and reading about. We see on the news. It's all over social media. And it's all really focused around one simple thing that really kind of resonated with me, and that's the term listen. You know, very often you may have heard your parents say this, and I know I remember my parents telling me, is to listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I think as we look at so many of the different issues that relate to whether or not people agree with certain subjects or agree with certain things that are taking place, a lot of it boils down to one very simple matter, and that's listening. Listening is a skill that many people fail to actually exercise and really use. A lot of times people say they're really listening to you and they really are not. And it made me really think about this as it relates to so many of the conversations that are taking place where so many people are going back and forth. And you have so many people saying, well, you got to go with my thought because my view is right. And this is exactly how everybody should see something. And then somebody on the other side says, well, wait a minute. My view is this, my thought is this, and you should go exactly with the way that I feel in this particular situation or subject. Well, you know, I watched something on 60 Minutes just recently, and it was a sit down that I actually came across by accident, you know, flipping through the channels and you find something. And Oprah Winfrey was sitting there with various people from different socioeconomic backgrounds and so many different people represented at the table. But everybody was having conversations about different things that are taking place in our country. And you know, one of the biggest takeaways that I took from the entire experience, because I got sucked in and I watched it, it was that people took the time to listen. And you know what was the great takeaway that so many people had after the session was over? Was simply, number one, our country needs to do more of this. Secondly, that if we just took the time to listen to one another, we would clearly understand why certain people feel a certain way about certain subjects, certain issues. You know, you cannot say, hey, well, you know, you shouldn't feel that way about this issue when you don't know the background and the reason why people feel this way about this issue and why it affects them this way. You don't know how it affected them coming up, history, the things that you don't even understand. Understanding and listening to people, because you cannot make assumptions and feel like people can see your perspective and understand your perspective because you look at it from your vantage point when you don't understand how it affects them. We talk about how people feel about the national anthem, and so many people are making their statements and they say it relates to this and it doesn't make sense to them why people would protest. Are you really listening to the people that are making the statements to say why they are protesting? I don't even think half of the people are listening. You're making an assumption basically saying it should not be this way because this is how I feel about it and this is what it means and this is exactly my viewpoint. Well, you got to take the time to listen to people and understand why they come from this perspective. See, everybody's thought process is based off of experience. Everybody's perception is based off of their experience and what they've gone through and how it's affected them and so many different things that they see through their lens and their filter. So if we take the time to have good conversation, not where we're going back and forth hollering and screaming, but good conversation and respect one another and listen, we can get a lot accomplished. That's one of the greatest things I took away from this session that took place. Yeah, sure, they didn't all agree. They felt different thoughts about political issues, different thoughts about racial issues, socioeconomic issues, and so many other things. But the great thing was they were able to come together and say, you know what? I can respect where you're coming from. I can understand where you're coming from. And more importantly, even after it was over with, they developed long-term relationships of staying in touch, and they felt like, you know, I got so much out of this because I took the wall down and me being closed-minded and not listening to their vantage point and took a moment to really see why are they feeling this way? Why is it something that's affecting them this way? You feel a certain way about certain things that may have frightened you growing up. Certain things that you feel like are things that you can't relate to because of bad experiences or things you happen to go through as it relates to your bringing up of your childhood, right? So those things are your vantage point. And I can easily say, well, why are you scared of that? What's the big deal? That's nothing. I don't know that there very well could have been a traumatic situation that happened in your life, something that scarred you, a deep wounded, ill issue that has affected your viewpoint of one particular thing that I'm looking at and saying, that's not a big deal. That shouldn't bother you. You don't understand. But when we talk, we get understanding. When we listen, we get even better clarity. So I wanted to just take a moment in the extended happy hour and share my thoughts as it relates to a subject I think that really honestly is being missed in everything that's said. We got to take the time to listen to one another. That can help us in so many different ways. The extended happy hour is my opportunity to share thoughts with you, for you to share your thoughts with me. So I need you to do a couple of things. Share the video, subscribe to my channel, but then also I need you to send me your thoughts. Respond to me. Hit me up, social media, Sly_King48. You can also email me, sly@hot1077radio.com. I want to get your thoughts. I want you to share with me some things that you really want me to talk about, or whatever your vantage point is, your viewpoint. I can respect it because we all are entitled to have that, but we have to take the time to listen. I look forward to the next time I get a chance to talk to you inside the extended happy hour. All right? Peace.